Over the next 15 years, 1.2 billion young people across emerging markets will turn 18 and enter the workforce. Economic projections show the global system will generate just 400 million jobs for this incoming generation. That leaves an 800 million job shortfall. What economists call a demographic dividend looks more like a demographic crisis. World Bank President Ajay Banga warns that without a massive increase in employment, this incoming generation becomes a freight train headed our way. A jobless youth bulge of this size creates severe instability. It drives violence, creates fragile states, and triggers international refugee crises. A popular utopian fix for extreme poverty relies on heavy redistribution, taking wealth from the top 1% to feed the rest of the world. The math falls apart quickly. You cannot simply hand out money to 1.2 billion people and expect a society to remain stable and productive. Banga advocates for capitalism with guardrails, where the primary objective is raising the water level so all ships float higher. The absolute best way to kill poverty and raise that water level is by providing someone with a job. Charity is insufficient to manufacture opportunity for 800 million people. The task requires a total re-engineering of the global financial blueprint. To see how that works, look at the origin of the World Bank itself. It was built after World War II specifically to finance the reconstruction of decimated nations. There is a common misconception that the bank merely takes tax dollars from wealthy nations and issues free grants to poor ones. The true mechanism relies on leverage. The World Bank uses its AAA credit rating and specialized divisions, like the International Finance Corporation, to absorb the risk of investing in emerging markets. By acting as a shield, this mechanism coaxes trillions of stared private dollars off the sidelines and into the hands of local entrepreneurs. Operating at this scale, the institution pushes over $120 billion into the global marketplace every single year. Charity keeps people alive, but only leveraged private capital can build the sheer physical infrastructure necessary to employ 1 billion new workers. So where exactly does this de-risked capital need to go to close that massive job gap? The first two targets are physical infrastructure, like roads and power grids, and agriculture. By funding smallholder cooperatives, farmers can remain profitable and self-sufficient on their own land. The third is primary healthcare. Rather than relying on massive, centralized hospitals, capital flows to local clinics staffed by neighborhood nurses and midwives. The final two targets prioritize labor-intensive tourism and fund local value-added manufacturing, stopping the historical trend of wealthy nations extracting raw materials to process elsewhere. These 5 pillars act as the guardrails. They ensure that incoming investment builds sustainable local wealth, which stops the mass migration of rural populations into urban slums. There is a modern curveball in this plan. Artificial intelligence threatens to automate away the exact jobs developing nations are relying on to build their workforces. We usually think of big AI, massive, energy-hungry language models designed to optimize white-collar tasks in wealthy countries. But emerging markets need small AI. These are highly localized edge computing tools built specifically to enhance human labor. Take agriculture. An illiterate farmer can use a basic smartphone camera to diagnose a crop disease and immediately identify the exact cheap local insecticide needed to save the harvest. This type of technology breaks the advantage of legacy incumbency. It allows developing nations to leapfrog traditional industrial phases and rapidly generate new types of local employment. The ultimate goal of solving global poverty is not engineering identical outcomes for everyone. It is about providing true equanimity of opportunity. A job provides a paycheck, but its most critical function is to manufacture optimism within a population. Banga argues this requires leaders with high DQ, or a decency quotient. It is a leadership trait that prioritizes fairness, pushing people forward with a hand on their back. These leaders have to roll up their sleeves and actively build those economic guardrails. They cannot afford to sit safely on the sidelines as armchair critics. When 1.2 billion young people believe their future will be better than their past, that demographic time bomb is diffused. This secures macroeconomic stability and peace for everyone.